Hey, what's up guys? Diego Sultan here. This is Listenersnotes, and today we're going to be doing my top 10 worst albums of 2016. Now, there are a lot of bad albums that I didn't include on this list if we're being honest. I tried to keep it into the ones that I just reviewed, just to keep it easy, to keep it simple. This is just my opinion. If you like these albums, that's fine. I'm glad you got more enjoyment out of them than I did, because when I went to listen to these albums, I wanted to enjoy them. It just didn't happen. And I'm sure there's going to be albums on my best list, which will be coming out shortly after this one, that you won't like. So that's just the name of the game. It's music. It's an opinion. So yeah, don't get your feelings hurt. It's not meant as an attack on you or your taste. So let's start this off with some honorable mentions. First, the collab of Big Sean and Jank Aiko in the 2088 project, which just did not click at all for me. It made no sense why those two were together like that. And then Designer's New English, which was probably the laziest mixtape I think I've ever seen. The only reason I didn't want to put it on the actual list was because I didn't really do a formal review of it, so I didn't feel it was right. Is it bad? Yes, it's terrible. It's no effort whatsoever, but. And here we are, without further ado, the top 10 worst albums of 2016. This band is a black metal group, and going in, I was excited, like, oh, this album cover looks crazy dark. This is gonna be some gruesome, heavy black metal. This is gonna be a good listen. But the first thing I noticed was that the drumming, it sounds so cheap, and I think it's something that could have been fixed really easily, just a slight tweak on the way that the drums were compressed and processed. But in the form that it was in right there, it was like hitting a plastic bin, and it didn't have the punch I wanted. It just sounded hollow and fake. And then the vocals on this thing, we have the lead singer is just like making so many bird screeches and like animal noises. He's howling like a wolf, and it doesn't work. No, it's awful. Why would you make these mating calls over this horrible drumming? I don't understand who made this album and thought this was a great idea. Kodak Black came through with probably some of the most boring hip-hop I've ever heard. The beats were fine, sure, just some plain trap beats, but this dude, he was asleep. He was sleeping during his session. He decided to like take some sort of drug, probably a bottle of NyQuil. He chugged it, and then he decided, alright, I think it's a good time to record my album now. And it just sounds awful. He has this sort of southern slang like Boosie Badass, and you can tell because Boosie's on the song. You're like, oh, this guy sounds like Boosie. Okay, that's fine. I like Boosie. He's good. He has some okay albums. I respect Boosie. And then you listen to the rest of the album, and you're like, no, this isn't Boosie. This is Boosie if he was on his deathbed, half asleep, and didn't care about his album at all. And that's what it sounds like. How can you expect me to get excited for this album when you don't sound excited for it? I just wanted to add that my problem with Kodak Black isn't just that he lacks a lot of lyrical chops or lyrical abilities at all. But not only are his lyrics bad and pointless and off topic constantly, but vocally he's not a very interesting character in hip-hop, to me at least. He doesn't have a lot of personality. His voice is kind of sleepy and boring, and he really just doesn't add much to the songs, for me at least. Personally, I think I'd get more enjoyment out of hearing just plain trap beats than hearing him try to croon and do something on these, because if anything, he hurts the songs with his lack of personality. He comes off very boring and at times even annoying. I can already imagine the comments. People are gonna say, this was an album that was made for his fans. Okay, fine. Look, I like Logic a lot. I think he's very good. This is not good. This is lazy. And I get it, it's for his fans. Well, I like him. And this didn't do anything for me at all. Lyrically, nothing happens here. His flow is the only thing he has, and then he has these songs where he's just biting off of Drake. Usually it's something that you can overlook, but with this, he has songs where he just sounds like him. And then the production on this entire album is just cheap trap beats, not even anything like innovating. So you're like, okay, maybe Logic comes through, and he doesn't. It's just some throwaway B-side quality verses, and that's our album. That's everything we got right here. I went into this album just expecting, I heard he was a gangster rapper. My friends were telling me about how good this album is. I'm like, oh, dude, I gotta check this out then. I might like this. I'm a huge Freddie Gibbs fan. I like the storytelling elements of someone like a Freddie Gibbs. So I'm like, all right, what does Kevin Gates got? And lyrically, there's nothing here. He's not telling any stories. He's just bringing up random things here and there. And, you know, I thought about that. I'm like, you know, it's fine if he has some good beats, if he sounds good on the beats. I think his flow and his voice are fine over these beats. But it's just a bunch of pop rap. It really is. It's glorified pop rap. His fans will be like, oh, so that's not pop. It's Kevin Gates. He's hard. That's not pop. It's pop. They have these songs layered. So it's like, okay, we have one club banger. We have one for the ladies. We have a love song. We have a street song. Like it's focus grouped so that it can sell as many copies as possible, but it doesn't care about how good it sounds. Not to mention his love songs or his sexual songs or whatever. They're terrible. This man has no charisma whatsoever, and these lines just sound so cringy coming out of his mouth. Even if he did have the charisma of an Anderson .Paak, who wrote these awful lyrics? So yeah, between those things, the just obvious pop pandering and just the lack of lyrics, I didn't really get what people were so excited about. There's nothing interesting here. You can get this sort of thing pretty much anywhere, but it is what it is. A nu metal band, alternative rock band, pretty big in that genre if you're into that kind of music. I'm on and off with it. There's some albums and bands that I care for, some that I really don't. Even for someone who isn't like a crazy Deftones fan, I generally respect them because I know so many people like them. The guitar and just the instrumentation in general, there's no melody, there's no intricacies here. I think there was one song where I'm like, oh, is that a guitar melody? Wow, I haven't heard that. Not to mention the vocals just sound terrible. The screaming, it sounds staticky. Oh, like he put some robot vocal effect on him and then he decided to scream with it. It sounds awful. There's just not much here in terms of substance. It sounds bad. This is one of those albums where it's not like it's super lazy. It's not like it comes off really bland. Although in a way you could say that it's bland because I do think the guitar lacks a lot of flavor being just this plain chugging sound. But the biggest problem is this thing just sounded bad. Now, I hadn't heard of this band before I did this review, I'll be honest. I had no clue who these guys were. I was just, you know, I heard the new Swans album maybe a month ago, and I was like, oh, I gotta find more experimental rock, because that album was so good. So, I was like, oh, this is an experimental rock band. It'll be good, but it's not. It feels like this is one of those albums where they were like, well, maybe if we play this terrible, we can sell it like it's pretentious. Because no one plays like this, you know. If we mix it in such a nonchalant, awkward way where all these instrumentals clash and it makes no sense, then we should. That sounds like a good marketing scheme, but really it just amounts to nothing. Pretentious garbage. Some people will say that I do like pretentious music to an extent, and I usually won't argue with them. I know what kind of music I'm into. I get it, but this is just too much for me. This is garbage. Another side note, my problem with the Health and Beauty album isn't that it's trying to be different. That's fine, but my problem is that they're trying to just throw some random crap on a song and sell it off as pretentious when it's not. It's fake. It's a facade. It's made to look like it's special, and it's really not. It's just a bunch of dudes messing around on their garage bands. Not to mention, I feel like it just lacked a lot of substance, and that was where I figured that this is just fake experimental rock. Yes, Lil Wayne has those awful auto-tune moments that just hurt my ears because his voice is so shrill, but I think he won up to 2 Chainz and he was in half as many songs. 2 Chainz was just boring on this thing. He had no energy whatsoever. And some of these beats, dude. There was this song, I think it was called Bentley Truck, and this freaking Metro Boomin beat was so bad. Like, he tried to do something that wasn't trap with these really strange sounding synths, but he just showed how one-dimensional he is as a producer. And I think it just came down to too many songs with not enough energy put into it. It just had no entertainment value for me, and I respect Riff Raff. I'll put it like this. I do respect him. He's doing something that's very silly. He's a joke rapper. He's fun. And I think he actually can be very funny. He's off the wall, and he does his thing. That's the one thing I respect the most about him. He just does his thing. And then you hear Peach Panther, and you're like, what happened to you, dude? He basically did the ultimate play it safe album here. Very commercial sounding, not funny. All he's doing is saying random stuff without like a bad joke punchline. There's nothing going on here. And he's repeating the same ones over and over again. And just even though he tried to do this ultra commercial trap sound, I still felt like the beats weren't even that good. They sounded kind of plain, and the drums also lacked a little bit of weight, and I was wondering why. Like this, you think there's a lot of money pumped into a project like this, but it just didn't pan out. I mean, we got a decent Danny Brown verse out of it though, so I can't be that mad. And here we are, the final two. Yeah, I reviewed this thing very recently. I was not very happy about it because I like Meek Mill. I do. I defended him through the Drake beef, and this is what happens. Kind of disappointing. Kind of pissed me off. I mean, this is probably the laziest thing that he could have done. He played it safe, and I get it, but it didn't work out at all for him. Some people liked it, but it's not gonna turn any heads. It's not gonna make people forget the fact that not only Drake ended him, but Game ended him. He's not helping himself by making these mediocre albums. And there's just nothing here. It's not catchy. There's no substance to it. It's so base level. Once you get through it, once you realize that there's no nuance to it, there's nothing special to hear the second time around. There's no layers. Once you hear it once, you know what's there. There's nothing interesting here. I just wanted to make it real clear why I didn't like this Meek Mill album. First and foremost, I thought the beats were just really plain trap beats, which I didn't come to expect from him because his last album had much more interesting production. They also didn't have a lot of kick to them, in my opinion. And of course, vocally, all he does is this shouting thing. There's not much substance to it. The hooks aren't very catchy. The beats aren't that good. The verses and the lyrics are not good either. There just wasn't anything special here, and I don't understand what was the selling point of this album, really. This album sucked, dude. I get his niche, and I get it. It's his niche to sort of be this guy who spits bars over these trap beats, and all his fans are like, I like how he doesn't really put effort into things. It's just about the bars. My friend recommended me this guy, and I was fairly intrigued. I feel like I had saw him on Twitter before then, so like the name was fresh when he said, "Oh, you check out Montana 300. He's fire." I was like, "Oh, I think I've heard of that guy. I should give it a shot." And this thing is terrible. And I think his biggest problem is that it's 80 minutes long, but he didn't find a way to make the first 10 minutes any better or any more interesting than the last 10. Final note here, the only thing that Montana 300 had going for him, for me at least, was his flow. Besides that, there was not a lot to this project. The beats sounded very cheap, very poorly produced, very low quality. And the verses themselves, the lyrics, although there are some clever lines, some nice wordplay, some nice bars that people will enjoy, I felt that was all he had going for him. And once you got past like 40 minutes into the album, you're wondering, is he going to rap about anything? But he doesn't. He just focuses on getting these punchlines, which get real tiring, really annoying, really fast. Not to mention, a lot of these punchlines end up getting reused later. And if you can't think of a new punchline, just cut the mixtape off. We're fine with 60 minutes. We're fine with 40 minutes. It does not need to be an 80-minute mixtape. I don't understand what was going through Montana's head with this. Not to mention, you add on the cheap auto-tune and the cheap beats. There's nothing here. It's just a bunch of filler. If you couldn't make a good project of 80 minutes of length because it's just out of your wheelhouse, that's fine. Focus your efforts and make a good 20-minute EP. Actually buy good beats. Actually use good singing, guest singers, better auto-tune. So, yeah, guys, that was my list. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to comment below, like, subscribe if you enjoyed this, if you're new. And yeah, I will be doing my best list soon, and next year we're going to be starting it off with a lot of reviews. I got a lot of good things planned. We're going to have a fun year. This is Listener's Notes. Thank you for watching. I can't wait to review some more music for you guys again real soon.